गोविंदम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। चिंतामणि प्रकरशद्मसु कल्पवृक्षलक्षादितेषु सुरभिरभिपालयन्तम् लक्ष्मी सहस्रशत संभ्रम सेव्यमानं गोविंदम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। गोविंदम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। गोविंदम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। गोविंदम् कन्मन्तं अरविन्ददलायताक्षं बर्हावतं समसितां बुधसुन्दराङ्गं कन्नत्कोटिकमणीय विशेषशोभं गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। गोविंदम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। गोविंदम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। आलोलचन्द्रकलशद्वनमाल्यवंशी रत्नांगदं प्रणयकेली कलाविलासं क्षणमन्त्रिभङ्गललितं नियतप्रकाशं गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। गोविंदम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। गोविंदम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। अंगानि यस्य सकलेन्द्रियवीर्तिमन्ति पश्यन्ति पान्ति कलयन्ति चिरं जगन्ति आनन्दचिन्मय सदुज्जलविग्रहस्य गोविन्दम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। गोविंदम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। गोविंदम् आदिपुरुषं तमहं भजामि। Thank you very much. मन्ने तदर्पितमन वचो न हितार्थ्य प्राणं पुनाति सकलं न तो भूरिमाण. So, simply by becoming proud that I have got so much material acquisition, nobody can compete with Krishna. That is not possible. Ano aniyang mahato mahiyan. Krishna, if you compare him, then you will find he is greater than the greatest. Just like generally transcendentalists, they have got idea of Brahma. What is that Brahma? Brihatyat Bringhanatyat iti Brahma. Brihat means the great. God is great. Brahma, the great. Nobody can be greater. Brihatyat Bringhanatyat. And Brahma can expand to unlimited extent. That's like Sarvam Khalidam Brahma. You see the expansion of Brahma, Parasya Brahmana Shakti, whatever we are seeing, the manifestation, expansion, this is Brahma. You can have little idea of the sky, but the sky which you are seeing, it is very little fragment of the whole sky, Brahma sky. So Brahma is so great, and Brahma can expand. Brihatyat, that which is greater than the greatest, and that which can expand unlimited, that is called Brahma. But in the Bhagavad Gita, you will find Krishna says, Brahmano aham pratishtha, that I am the resort of Brahma. Brahma is resting upon me. So he is greater. Krishna or Brahma. You will find in the Bhagavad Gita, Brahmana aham pratishtha. Just like the sunshine. The sunshine is distributed all over the universe. According to Vedic knowledge, the sunshine is distributing its shining all over the universe. And the stars or the moons, they are glittering, being reflected by the sun. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita I will find, Nakshatranam aham shashi. Krishna says that out of the many stars I am the moon. That means moons and the stars are on the same category. As the moon is a reflection of the sun, similarly the stars are also a reflection of the sun. So this shining, you can see, it is expanded all over the universe. And whoever is coming in front of the shining sunshine, it is glittering. Just like you can see sometimes an aeroplane running very high in the sky. As soon as there is reflection of the sunshine, it glitters. So everything, by in touch with sunshine, it glitters. So now the sunshine is expanding all over the universe. But where is the rest of the sunshine, the sun planet? The sun planet, you can see that it is lying in one corner of the sky. But because the sun planet is lying in one corner of the sky, does it mean that sunshine is greater than the sun? No. Similarly, Brahma may be very great. There is no question about it. But Brahma effulgence is resting on Krishna. That we'll find in the Brahma Samhita. Yassa prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti koti sase vasudhadi vibhuti vindam tad brahmanishkalamanantamase bhutam govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. Yassa prabha, I worship the Supreme Lord, the Prime Lord, Govinda. Why? Yassa prabha, prabhavato, by expansion of whose bodily luster or effulgence, Jagadanda Koti, many millions and trillions of universes are generated in that Brahma Jyoti. Exactly like within the sunshine, the effulgence, there are millions and trillions of planets. Similarly, in the effulgence of Krishna, bodily effulgence, there are millions and trillions of universes. Jasya prabha prabhavato, on account of his bodily luster being expanded, there are creation of so many millions and trillions of universes. But if you take it for granted that each star is an universe, no. That according to Vedic literature, that is not accepted. But in each and every universe, there are millions and trillions of planets. Jasya prabha prabhavato jagadanda koti, kotishu asesa. Asesa means there is no end. Millions and trillions there is counting. But here it is mentioned asesa. Asesa means there is no question of count. Asesa vasudhadi. Vasudha means planet, where the living entities can reside. This is the meaning of Vasudha. No planet is without any living entities. Every planet is full of living entities. Vasudhadi vibhuti bhinnam. But each planet is particularly opulent in a particular way. Just like you can see, the moon planet is particularly opulent by some particular feature. It is very cold. Similarly, sun planet, it has got a particular feature. It is very hot. So, each planet has got a different particular type of feature. Vasudhadi vibhuti bhinnam. So this is the creation. Sarvam idam. Therefore the Vedic injunction, Sarvam khalu idam Brahma. There is nothing except Brahma. But the Mayavadi philosophers, they do not accept the varieties. They accept varieties as false. But we Vaishnava philosophers, We don't accept varieties as false, but it is temporary. That is the difference. Actually it is so. Just like your body. Now, if I say your body is false, let me kill you, will you agree? Then why should you call it is false? If it is false, they don't mind either it is killed or it is left. No, it is not false. The theory of the Mayavadi, Brahma Sattva Jagan Mithya, Jagat, this material world, they say it is false. We don't say it is false. It is temporary. That is the real termination or terminology. That it is not false. So, because it is temporary, so we have to make the best use of this temporary body. Don't take it as false. Just like a train, you have no experience in your country. In India you have got experience. When there is a little more stoppage of a mail train, the people of India, they are accustomed to take bath daily. So immediately they take some advantage and they begin to take bath. And there are so many water taps in the station, and every tap is engaged. So to make the best use, because they think that we have got a half an hour at our disposal, so let us finish it properly. So once taken bath, then the whole day's journey is pleasant. Similarly, this body is not false. Not only this body, everything material, we don't take it as false. We take it as temporary. And temporary, how it should be utilized? For our best purpose. Just like the men, passengers in the train, they are using the half an hour time for taking bath, utilized. Similarly, although this body is temporary, we can utilize it for the best purpose. What is that best purpose? Realization of Krishna. If we can utilize this temporary body for utilization, for understanding Krishna consciousness and be fixed up in that Krishna consciousness, that is the best use of the bad bargain. So Prahlad Maharaj therefore says in this verse, Pranam punati sakulam, one who has engaged himself in Krishna consciousness, Aravinda Nama Padaravinda, lotus feet of Krishna or Vishnu, he purifies himself as well as his family, purifies his whole family. Sometimes a Vaishnava born in a village, he purifies the whole village. These are statements in authentic scriptures. So, apart from village, a Vaishnava born in a family can give the best service to his family because he purifies. Sakulam, the host of his ancestors and forefathers, everyone is purified. Not bhurimanaha, but the person who is simply proud of being born of a Brahmin family, and even if he has all the good qualities of a Brahmin, but if he is simply proud, he has not engaged his qualification in understanding Krishna consciousness, Prahlad Maharaj says that he is useless. Better than him is he who has engaged his everything. Pranayatthi Dhyavacha. Everything means I have got my body, I have got my mind, I have got my words. I can serve you by my words, just like I am serving you. Somebody can serve by his mind, somebody can serve by his bodily service. So everything should be engaged in Krishna consciousness, then he is glorious. He is glorious. He is better than that person who is simply materially qualified and proud of his material qualification and acquisition, but does not engage himself in the service of the Aravindanava, Vishnu. So, somebody may question, what is the profit? Suppose I am prepared to engage my life, my mind, my words, my wealth and everything in the service of the Lord, then what is my profit? I become insolvent because I give everything to Krishna. Then what I keep myself for me? The Prahlad Maharaj is very Krishna je bhaje sevajo chotu. Anyone who is in Krishna consciousness is very intelligent. So, this question is replying, because the next question should be like this. Suppose I am prepared to engage everything, whatever I have got, in the service of Krishna, then what is my profit? Because we are always after profit. That should be. Any intelligent man should not do anything without any profit. But they do not know what is that profit. That is also answered by Prahlad Maharaj, somewhere else. Nate vidushat gating hi Vishnu. The foolish human society, they do not know that the real profit is Krishna consciousness. Vishnu or Krishna consciousness, the same thing. Durasayade bahirarthamanina. They are trying to be profitable by the external world. They are thinking that I shall make profit by becoming a very big businessman, just like Ford and Rockefeller and so many in our country, Birla. No. Durasaya. That is your, what is called Durasha. The hope which is never to be fulfilled. What is called that in English language? No, the hope. Suppose you are hoping something, but it will never be fulfilled. What is called? No. Utopian. Yes, that is the exact one. You are thinking something, building castle in the air. So, Bhagavad says, Durasaya, utopian theory. That is, he is thinking that I shall be very great by doing this business or having this education or this or that, so many things. Everyone has got his own plan. But Bhagavad says, Durasaya, this is utopian. Why this utopian they have taken? They are so much educated, they are so much wealthy, beautiful and intelligent. Why Durasaya utopian? That because Bahirarthamanina, they have taken their basic platform, the external energy. So what is the fault there? Because external energy is itself temporary. The Mayavadi philosophy, it is called false, but we say temporary. So what is the profit by temporary achievement? Just like there are many instances, President Kennedy, with great endeavor, he became a president. Temporary, the post is temporary, so 5 years or 4 years. But still the people, they exert so much energy. And even if he is president, if there is something wrong in somebody's mind, he is killed. So, is it not utopian? His energy should have been utilized for self-realization, what I am. But if somebody wastes his energy to capture some utopian post which will be finished at any moment, so is it not utopian? That's what Bhagavad says, they do not know their self-interest. Bahirathamanina, being captivated by the external energy. Nati vrushasagating Vishnu durasayadi bahirathamani. But why they are so much captivated? Na andhadathandhairupaniyamana ste isatantra urudami badhya. Because they follow rascal leaders. Their leadership is andha. Andha means blind. And they are following the blind leadership. They are themselves blind. Why blind? They cannot see future. They do not know what is going to, because they have no understanding that I am eternal. This temporary body is only a flash in my life. I have changed so many bodies, just like in this present existence, I have changed my body so many times from my childhood to this old age. Similarly, I am changing my body. So this life, this body is temporary. Durasayadi vahirathamanina andha, and I do not see my future, therefore I am blind. And the leader which is leading me, he is also blind. So a blind man leading other blind men, what is the result? The result is catastrophe. Therefore, in spite of so many great leaders, politicians, scientists, educationists, the result is that the problematic. The whole world is full of problems. They do not know what is their interest. The interest is this Krishna consciousness, that they do not know. So, it is the task of the members of the Krishna consciousness to preach this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore has ordered, Jare dakho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. Whomever you meet, your business is just try to make him convinced of the instructions as given by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. That is the best service to the humanity. The Prahlad Maharaj says, Naiva atmana prabhurayam nijalabha purna manang janad avidisu karuna briniti jajjajjano bhagavate vidadhita manang tatcha atmane pratimukasya jathavakhasri. It's very nice. So, the question may be that because everything has to be offered to Krishna, so does it mean that Krishna is hankering after my riches? Because I have amassed so much money by hard labor, and Krishna is very clever that he is trying to take it away? Yes. Yes, that is the fact. Krishna says in Bhagavad that Jasyaham anagrinnhami hariseta dhanam sanai. The Pandavas, they were friends of Krishna, and they were put into so many difficulties. Their kingdom was stolen, their wife was insulted, they were forced to live in the forest, giving up the kingdom, so many difficulties. Their house was set in fire, the other party, his cousin brothers. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, the eldest brother of the Pandavas, practically this question was raised by Parikshit Maharaj to Sukadeva Goswami. The question was that Vishnu or Narayan, he is the supreme opulent, Lakshmipati, the husband of the goddess of fortune. So persons who are Vishnu Bhakta or Vaishnava, why they become poorer? Why this contradiction? And the devotees of Lord Shiva, Shiva presents himself as the poorest man. He has no dwelling house even. He lives underneath a tree. And his wife, Durga, she is the proprietor of this universe. She is also following the husband. She has also agreed to live underneath the tree. Never complains, my dear Shiva, you don't construct a house even. What is this? She also agrees. That means they live very in a wretched, poor condition. So, this was the question of Parikshit Maharaj, that those who are worshippers of this wretched Lord Shiva, not wretched, but he places himself in such condition, they become very opulent materially. They have got very nice state, very nice wife, very nice food stuff. And the Vaishnavas, who are worshippers of Vishnu, the most opulent, the controller of Lakshmi, Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Sevamanam, whom not only one, but millions and billions of goddess of fortune is always in his service. Such opulent Krishna and Vishnu, those who are worshippers of Vishnu and Krishna, why they become poorer? This contradiction was inquired by Maharaj Parikshit to Sukadeva Goswami, and Sukadeva Goswami said that this is the process of great personality. He said, I will not answer this question, but this very question was inquired by your grandfather, Maharaj Yudhishthira, to Lord Sri Krishna, and it is better to take the answer directly from Krishna. So similar question was put, because Maharaj Yudhishthira was little doubtful that I am known as Dharmaraj, the king personified religion, because I never tell anything lie, and my life is so past. So, and my brothers, Arjuna and Bhima, they're the greatest warrior. And our wife, Draupadi, she is personally the goddess of fortune. So you are combined together, religion, goddess of fortune, greatest warrior, and above all, the greatest friend, Krishna. Why you are in difficulty? This question was asked. Krishna, this question was asked not for their personal benefit, just to teach us that sometimes in Krishna consciousness you may be put in difficulty, but don't, I mean to say, be agitated. Fixed up. You should know Krishna's mercy. Why? Krishna says, Jassahanigrunami hariseta dhanam sunai. He answered to Yudhishthira, my dear Yudhishthira, the first test of a devotee is that if I show him special favor, then I take away all his wealth. Why? Why this sort of special favor? Because this material attachment is so great that one cannot go to Krishna. So anyone who is engaged in Krishna consciousness, at the same time he wants material enjoyment. Krishna says is foolishness. Foolishness. Anyone who is making progress in Krishna consciousness should not be envious, so he is so great, he is so rich man, he has got so nice palace, he has got so nice wife, I haven't got anything. Don't be, because it is completely different life. Don't be captivated by the material opulence. Even you are put into great difficulties. Because you are not this material body, you are spirit soul. So your progress should be steady on the spiritual platform. So, we shall discuss this point more. The time is past. Prahlad Maharaj is explained why one should offer everything to Krishna. That we shall discuss in the next meeting. Thank you very much. Any question?
The devotee, he can be very poor, but is it okay if he's hankering after something for Krishna? He says, oh, we haven't got anything, we need a house or something like that. Why can't we, can the devotee think like that? Or why can't we get a nice house like these people for Krishna? Is that all right?
Devotee thinks, why shall he not have a nice house?
For Krishna.
Oh, for Krishna he can have anything. That is the difference. Not for himself. For himself he should be satisfied whatever Krishna offers. That's all. But for Krishna, he'll try to, just like the example is Hanuman. Hanuman, he fought with Ravan. Why? Not for his personal sake. He did not fight with Ravan to take the kingdom of Ravan and become king there. No. He fought for Ram. So, the Krishna consciousness person's endeavor should be to give everything to Rama. But for himself, he is completely dependent on Krishna. Whatever position he may keep, it doesn't matter. He has no such perception whether he is always happy. Krishna's service is so nice that he has no other idea what is happiness except Krishna's service. So why shall he desire this or that? Naturally, he has no desire, because he has already fulfilled his desire, being in Krishna consciousness. But those who are thinking that becoming Krishna conscious, I shall become very rich, I shall become one of the richest men, that is his foolishness. That means he is not in Krishna consciousness. He still requires to be more advanced. But actually one who is Krishna conscious, that very consciousness is so happy that he doesn't want anything more. That very consciousness is happiness. Ahituki apratihata. There is no other cause. A real Krishna conscious person does not become Krishna conscious for any other purpose. That Krishna consciousness is his purpose. That is the end, that is the means. It is not a means to achieve something else. Bhakti is such thing. Therefore bhakti is transcendental. It is not material. That in material world, in exchange of something, you get something else. But in the spiritual world, the endeavor and the achievement, the same thing. So, actually a person who is in Krishna consciousness, he has no such desire. Annavilasita sunnam. The exact definition you will find in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Annavilasita sunnam. Sunnam means completely devoid of any other desire. Annavilasita sunnam. Jnana karma dhanavritam. And uncovered by the activities of knowledge or fruitive action. Anukullena Krishnanusilanam. Simply acting in favor of Krishna. Krishna wants this, I shall do it. Krishna wants this fight, Arjuna did it. Not for himself. We shall keep always in mind that Arjuna was engaged into fight not for his personal self. For his personal self is denied. Oh, what shall I do with this kingdom? By fighting with my brothers and grandfathers and so. No, Krishna, excuse me, I cannot fight. But when he understood that the fight is to be done for Krishna, he took all the responsibility. Similarly, a Krishna conscious person will not aspire anything for his sense gratification. But he will aspire for all the world for Krishna's service. Is that clear? Yes. Yes. I have understood. Krishna consciousness does not mean that you falsely make some attempt. Just like Arjuna. Arjuna understood the Krishna philosophy, and it does not mean that he became a naked fakir and went away from the fighting place and without any clothing he began to travel. Is it that? No. The only thing is that he changed the account. The account was on behalf of Krishna. So you haven't got to make such renunciation that you have to live underneath the tree or give up your dress, become naked. No. That is not, you have misunderstood. You should dress himself properly, you should eat properly, you should work properly, but not on your account, but Krishna's account. That is the thing. That's all. Nirvande Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagamuchyat. That is the difference between Vaishnava philosophy and Mayavadi philosophy. The Mayavadi philosophy says that Brahma Sattva Jagan Mithya. This world is false and Brahma is truth. So let me become renounced of all these worldly relationship and try to be one with the Brahma. That is Mayavadi philosophy. We don't say that. We say that because Brahma is Satta, truth, and because the world is created by Brahma, so this is also truth. This is also truth. Purnamidam Purnamada Purnat Purnamudachyate. That is the verse now, Upanishad. The thing is, difference between Mayavadi and Vaishnava, they do not know the proprietorship. We know the proprietorship. We don't accept anything as I am the proprietor. This is mistake, this is Maya. Actually, if I take it is Krishna's, then I am liberated. Just try to understand, you are sitting here, you know that this apartment or this loft belongs to somebody. So there is no harm sitting here, hearing here. But if you think that this is mine, and if you want to take something out of this, then there is trouble. Similarly, this world belongs to Krishna. If you have always that consciousness that it belongs to Krishna, just like a bank cashier, he knows the millions of dollars is coming to him, but he knows that this is belonging to the bank. I am simply cashier. Similarly, you can deal with all the worldly things, but if your consciousness is Krishna, then you are free. Nikhileshapi avasthasu jivan mukta sauchat. In every condition of life, if one is Krishna conscious, he is always liberated. He is not affected. So that is Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness does not teach you to become a false renouncer. What is the use of becoming a renouncer? After all, you have got this body. How can you renounce it? Either you cover it with underwear, either you cover it with costly dress. You have to cover it. So that covering also belongs to Krishna. So we have to be situated under the consciousness that everything is Krishna's. Nothing belongs to me. That is the actual fact. But by illusion, we are accepting this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. We have to give up this consciousness and accept the Krishna consciousness. That is our preaching. Is that clear? Yeah.
I don't understand when you say that you worship Krishna or Vishnu. I don't understand. Krishna is Vishnu or Vishnu is Krishna?
Yes. Krishna, there are several categories of living entities. Krishna is also living entity. Vishnu is also living entity. You are also living entity. Lord Shiva is also living entity. Every one of us. But there are categories, just like in your Montreal city, there are hundreds of millions of people. But someone's status is higher than the others. Similarly, Krishna is the original living entity. Govindam Adi Purusham. The Adi Purusham means original. And from him, everything has expanded. Eka Bahushyama. He has expanded himself in many. So, some of them are in the Vishnu category. The Vishnu category means they are almost equal to Krishna. It is estimated the Vishnu categories, they have 94% opulence of Krishna. The next category is Shiva category. The Shiva category has 84% of all the opulence of Krishna. And the next category is Brahma category, Brahma. So Brahma category means living entities. When they are perfect, they can obtain 78% of the opulence of Krishna. So Krishna is 10%, Vishnu or Narayan is 94%, Lord Shiva is 84%, and we, in our perfection, we are 78%. Is that clear?
Oh, I don't understand then why you would worship Vishnu and not Krishna.
Huh?
I don't understand why they need to go to Vishnu and not to Krishna. If Krishna is higher.
Why do I am to take care of your child? Why not other child? They are also children. Why don't you take care? Answer this.
Because the child was given to me.
You love him. That's all. Similarly, if you love Krishna, that's all right. If you love Vishnu, that is also all right. But you cannot derive the same result by loving Krishna or by Vishnu. Therefore it is your selection. Whom should you love? Krishna is 10% and Vishnu is 94%. So if you want to worship or love 94%, that is also almost Krishna. But Krishna is 10%. Purnam. Matta paratara kinchid asti na dhananja. In the Bhagavad Gita you'll find that he is the supreme. Aham sarvasya pravada matta sarvam pravattate iti matya bhajanti mang buddha bhava samannitaha. I am the origin of everything, including Vishnu, Brahma, Shiva, and living entities, everything. Iti matta. So, intelligent person, if I have to love, why not love the greatest personality, Krishna? Who is 10% perfect. That is your selection. If you select 94%, there is no harm. But the best thing is, why not 10%? Is that all right? Not yet clear?
Well, that part I understand. What I don't understand is why.
Why?
Why would they take less than Krishna?
Huh?
Why would you take less than Krishna? If Krishna is 7%, why take less?
I don't follow you. What is that?
Why would someone take less? Why would someone choose Vishnu and not Krishna if they know that Krishna is 10% and Vishnu is 94%?
That you have already answered. Why like this time?
Well, what I mean is
That is your selection.
But then what I want to know is, if you worship Krishna and you go to Krishna worship,
Yes.
and if you don't worship Vishnu, what happens to it? Where do you go? What happens to those people?
He goes to Vishnu Loka.
And it's not, is it eternal?
Huh?
Is it eternal?
Yes. That is also any place in the spiritual sky, they are eternal. If that is your question, now either Vishnu planet or Krishna planet, they are all in the spiritual world. Or the impersonal Brahma, that is also in the spiritual world. So somebody wants to be merged into the Brahma effulgence, so that is also spiritual world. Somebody wants to go into the Vishnu planet, that is also in the spiritual world. And somebody wants to go to this Krishna planet, that is also in the spiritual sky. But there are differences, in the spiritual sky. The difference between spiritual sky and material sky is that everything in the spiritual sky, they are eternal. And everything in the material sky, they are temporary. That's all. So many? I say you.
Isn't brahmacharya temporary in the fact that you can come back down to the earth, back to the material world?
Brahmachari?
Brahmacharya?
No, brahmachari means spiritual sky. This material sky means Brahmajyoti is covered by material cloud. Actually, everything is Brahmajyoti. Just like clear sky, but some portion of the sky is sometimes covered by cloud. Some portion only. The whole sky is never covered by sky. Similarly, some portion which is covered by this material atmosphere, that is called material world. That's all. Actually, the original sky is spiritual. Original sky is full of sunshine. But the covered portion means we cannot see the sunshine. Covered portion by cloud means we cannot see the sunshine. Similarly, this material sky means where we cannot see the spiritual effulgence. That is the difference. Otherwise, even this material sky is also spiritual sky. The spiritual sky is the original status, yes. Yes, any question you can ask. You have been asked to do that? Then why you are feeling so disturbed? As you are thinking that they should not, they are thinking that you should. As you are thinking they should not do like that, they are thinking you must do that. Then what is the difference of opinion? Your vote is single and there are so many. So you have to follow the greatest majority vote. No, I am answering your question. As you are thinking in that way, they are also at liberty to think otherwise. So you cannot encroach upon their thinking. Therefore, as you are thinking that they should not have done, they are thinking you should have done. The real question is that they are following a system. So in that system, the spiritual master is offered respect in that way. There is a system. And they don't feel any uneasiness by doing that. Newspaper man has poor vision. He's seeing Indian and American and Canadian. So his vision is poor. If anyone thinks that this Swamiji is coming from India and the Americans or Canadians, they are offering their respect in that way, so he has to expand his vision in Krishna consciousness. that just like it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, that Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankati samas sarveshu bhuteshu madbhakti lavate param. So this obedience is taught, just like Krishna is asking everybody, Arjuna, Mamekam saranam braja. This is our system. Just like anyone who comes to the temple, he at once offers by falling flat, offering respect to the deity. And the spiritual master is accepted as representative of the deity. He is a living representative. That is the system everywhere. Just like in our India, somebody was going as viceroy, representative of the king in England, or he was being offered all the respect of the king. And nobody bothered that he is coming from England. Why a Brahmin should offer respect to the viceroy? No, they never grasped. That is a system. The representative of a king, if he can be offered such respect, that how much respect should be offered to a person who is representative of Krishna? Yes.
Is the idea that matter is neither created nor destroyed, but the substance is eternal, but the form is temporary?
Yeah, that is the way. Everything here in the material world is temporary. Anything you take, anything material, that is temporary. Similarly, this body is temporary, this house is temporary, this country is temporary. Say, some 500 years ago, this was not Canada, it was something else. And similarly, some other time it will be different. So nothing is fixed up or permanent in this material world. Yes. Take it either belonging to the Indians or to the Canadians. It belongs to Krishna. And actually that is a fact. Everything belongs to Krishna. We simply falsely say, this is belongs to Canadian, this is belongs to Indian.